Good morning, Monarchs. Welcome to the video for lesson 3.7. We are solving absolute value inequalities now. So this is very similar to the absolute value equations we were solving yesterday. But today we're using inequality signs instead of equal signs, okay? So we're just solving these like we did yesterday, but we're using inequality signs instead of equal signs. So let's take a look at our rule at the top there. It says each absolute value inequality is written as two inequalities joined by and or. And or. Okay. So we're working with absolute value inequalities. So this is what we were talking about on Wednesday, I believe it was, or Tuesday. Or less than and greater. So less than is an and. So less than. That's how we remember that. Okay. Greater than is an or. Greater. Okay. Less than or greater. That's how we remember that. Okay. So let's take a look at example 1. It says solve the absolute value of 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to 23. So do we want to use and or in this problem is this first question. And we know that when we look at this sign right here, it is a less than sign. So we are going to use and in this problem because this is a less than sign. So this is an and problem. Then we're going to put less than, okay, because it's a less than, okay? So now we set up our two inequalities like we normally would. We'd just like we did yesterday when we set it up equal to a positive and a negative. That's what we're going to do. So we have 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to 23, and 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 23. Okay? So now we'll solve both of these, and then we will graph them. Okay? So when we do 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to 23, the first thing we want to do is move that negative 7. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. That's the opposite of a negative 7. We would add 7. So negative 7 plus 7 is 0. 23 plus 7 is 30. So I'm left with 5x is less than or equal to 30. This 5 I know is multiplying my x because it's right next to it. So I know the opposite of multiplication would be division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so that cancels out. I'm left with x is less than or equal to 30 divided by 5 would be 6. Okay, so that's my first side. I also have 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 23. Okay, 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 23. So I'm going to add 7 again, like I did before. Add 7. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0, just like before. Negative 23 plus 7 would be negative 16. So I have 5x is less than or equal to negative 16. Same thing, I would divide by 5. Divide by 5. Those cancel out, and I get x is less than or equal to, and negative 16 divided by 5 would be negative 3.2. Okay. So it says to graph the solution now. Okay. Okay. So I made a mistake. So when I split my two equations up, I did not flip the sign of my inequality like I was supposed to. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this out right here. So when I split this up originally, I split it up into 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to 23, and 5x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 23. When we split these up, though, I should have switched this to a greater than or equal to sign. Okay. So when we flip, I always need to switch my sign around. So this should actually be greater than or equal to negative 23, which means that this should also be greater than or equal to. Okay, so this should also be greater than or equal to, and this sign too should have been greater than or equal to. Okay. So When we split these up and we set the one that's equal to a negative, when we set the one that's equal to a negative, we flip our sign. So now I have x is less than or equal to negative or to 6, and x is greater than or equal to negative 3.2. So when we set it equal to our negative, we have to flip our sign. That's a huge rule, okay? So this is to graph the solution now. So first I'm going to go to 6 right here and do a close dot above 6. Then I'm going to go to negative 3.2, which is between 3 and negative 3 and negative 4, about right there. And if I look, my arrow for 6 is going to go this way, and my arrow for negative 3.2 is going to go this way. So I just connect them between the two. Okay, and that is the graph. All right. So now it says, how would you write this solution? It says, how would you write this solution? So this is going to be what's in the middle, but this needs to come before it. Okay, so it would actually be negative 3.2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 6. Okay, that's how we would write that final solution. Okay. So it's always my smaller number than my x and the bigger number here. Okay. Say this is x is less than or equal to 6, x is greater than or equal to negative 3.2. We put it in this form. Okay, so stay tuned for the second